2025 is definitely the year of Middle Eastern perfumes. There were hundreds, or shall I say thousands, of new Middle Eastern perfume releases this year that I tried to catch up. I even went to Beauty World Dubai in order to discover more Middle Eastern perfumes. So having said that, guys, today is the day wherein I chose my top Middle Eastern perfume releases of 2025. And I'm telling you, it is so hard, to the point that I started actually with 18, but I wanted to narrow it down to only 10. However, it was really impossible. So I ended up with 13. Today's video is all about the best of the best Middle Eastern perfumes, and I based my criteria on the juice quality and performance. So having said that, all of the perfumes in today's list not only smell amazing, they also smell like of high quality, and at the same time the performance is outstanding, meaning they all lasted me more than 8 hours. And when it comes to projection, most of them are beast mode when oversprayed, while others, I think I have here like 3 or 4 fragrances that have moderate projection. In my opinion, all of these perfumes are 10 out of 10. And yeah, I know that you're excited because I am too. So let's dive in. Okay, this year has been the year of vanillas, I think, not only in the niche market, but also in the Middle Eastern market. And in my humble opinion, this is the best vanilla release from the Middle Eastern market this year. Vanilla 01 by Swiss Arabian. Basically, to me, this is a floral vanilla that has some creaminess coming from the coconut. I mentioned floral vanilla because the jasmine, tuberose, and orange blossom are quite prominent here, along with that good quality vanilla. And to me, this is truly the best vanilla release from the Middle Eastern perfume market because I love how the vanilla is particularly done in here. Most of the time, Middle Eastern perfumes have extremely sweet vanilla, and the vanilla that I find in Vanilla 01 is somewhere in between, to the point that it's even creamy, and it's just so different. I think cappuccino note in here gave it like that twist of foamy texture that I am truly enjoying. The white florals that are in here gave this fragrance elegance and sophistication. I truly enjoy Vanilla 01, and to be honest, I wanted to feature here actually Enigma of Taif, because I will say amongst all the 3 releases this year from Swiss Arabian, Enigma of Taif has the highest quality, but I think when it comes to wearability, it has like a particular audience. So I chose Vanilla 01 because to me, this is the most appealing personally. This is a vanilla perfume that I will use myself, and I know that a lot of you will enjoy this fragrance as well because this is a beautiful, sophisticated floral vanilla. I highly recommend it. Performance, I will say, is around 6 to 8 hours. This is one of those moderate performers in today's video. However, I am not complaining because with this type of scent, in order to sustain that sophisticated element, the performance has to be moderate. Vanilla 01 by Swiss Arabian, the best vanilla perfume release by Middle Eastern perfume market this year. I find this fragrance feminine leaning. All right, speaking of vanilla, in my opinion, this is a viral vanilla from the Middle Eastern perfume market that deserves the virality and the hype. And this is Vanilla Voyage by Maison Asrar. It smells incredibly addictive. This smells like a fluffy, buttery vanilla frosting. Apparently, this is a dupe of Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana, but in my opinion, yes, they are similar, but I find Vanilla Voyage better because it is creamier and more buttery. It's like a Bianco Latte DNA, but make it more addictive, more buttery, and more fluffy. There's something about this fragrance that really got me hooked. and I truly enjoy wearing it. And just to let you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Bianco Latte because there's something in there that is irritating my nostrils. But with Vanilla Voyage, guys, this is like a perfect buttery vanilla gourmand that I enjoy. I recently just got this fragrance, by the way, because it has been out of stock for a very long time, and I got mine from ORIOUDH.com. So I was saved with the FOMO. This is such a worthy vanilla fragrance that smells incredibly addictive, and performance, guys, is 10 out of 10. Lasts more than 8 hours. I've worn this fragrance 3 times in a row since I received it, and I was truly impressed by the performance of Vanilla Voyage and the projection, as well as I could smell myself literally the whole day. Yeah. Anyway, enough said. Vanilla Voyage, an incredible and addictive vanilla fragrance from the Middle Eastern market, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. All right, the last vanilla in today's list is La Dida For Her by Arabiyat Prestige. Now, I was truly surprised by how much I love this fragrance, but when I wore it myself and I experienced it on skin, I was actually captivated by how luxurious smelling it smells like. Because I'll be honest with you, the bottle is not really screaming luxurious, but the scent is so beautiful, guys. This is a floral, fruity vanilla scent that I find very elegant. It has tuberose and ylang-ylang. However, it's very subtle, just enough to give this fragrance that feminine factor. And the vanilla, benzoin, and musk here are just blended into perfection. Not too sweet and not too dark as well. In my opinion, this can be a perfect signature scent if you don't mind carrying this in your bag. Anyway, guys, it also has sweet raspberry note that's just floating in the background, giving this fragrance that fruity, fresh vibes. I highly recommend it if the sound of a fruity, floral, vanilla musk, perfect for daily use, sounds appealing to you. Once again, La Dida For Her. Performance is outstanding. This lasts on me more than 8 hours, and it definitely stays longer on clothes. Once again, La Dida For Her by Arabiyat Prestige. All right, now let's talk about summer scents. And I chose the best summer scents from the Middle Eastern perfume market. I am only featuring 2 perfumes today. Okay, and the first one is from Orientica. This is called Azzure Fantasy. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that I describe this fragrance as a combo of Torino 21 and Imagination. So yeah, you can imagine how amazing this fragrance smells like, especially if you love those 2 perfumes that I mentioned. This definitely has that clean, soapy vibe from Imagination, and at the same time, it has that fresh and cooling feel coming from the ginger mint that, in my opinion, is kind of reminding me of Torino 21 by Xerjoff. This is truly, really beautiful, and I think it is such an underrated Middle Eastern perfume, actually. And guys, the bottle is so gorgeous. Like, I have a lot of Orientica bottles under this line, and in my opinion, they are one of my most beautiful looking bottles in my collection. Anyway, guys, Azzure Fantasy, I highly recommend it because to me, this is a luxurious smelling freshie, perfect for summer, and the vibe of the bottle is the vibe of the juice inside. Don't sleep on this one, especially if you are looking for an amazing 10 out of 10 freshie from the Middle Eastern market. Once again, Azzure Fantasy by Orientica. And I find this fragrance, by the way, unisex. All right, next up is Island Dreams by Khadlaj. This is probably my favorite release from Khadlaj this year because it is just truly beautiful. Apparently, this is duping Symphony by Louis Vuitton. I have tried that fragrance, and this is pretty much spot on. I will highly recommend you just to buy Island Dreams than spending what, $400 or $500 on Symphony by Louis Vuitton. In my opinion, this not only smell amazing, the performance is outstanding as well, considering it is freshy. Basically, this is a grapefruit, ginger, and ambroxan combo that just smells so elegant. It is a kind of freshy that I think will be good to use on a daily basis. Like, for example, you're a type of person who enjoys freshy scent, even if it's wintertime, then I highly recommend you Khadlaj Island Dreams. This is a beautiful ginger, grapefruit, and ambroxan musk combo that, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10. It's very unisex as well. So I think that this is really worth your money because you can share it in the household. The bottle looks beautiful as well. Truly an amazing release of 2025. Actually, I think this is like in the top 3 favorite discoveries of mine this year. Once again, guys, Island Dreams by Khadlaj. All right, so we're done with the summer freshie. And the next fragrance is not freshy, literally. However, I find this fragrance to be still a little bit freshy and will be perfect for spring and summertime. This is Nectare Overdose by French Avenue. Guys, I discovered this when I was in Beauty World and I was kind of blown away actually. I'm not really a big fan of honey in fragrances and I tend to be picky when it comes to honey because most of the time they tend to be like cloying for my liking or like too intense. But the way honey is done in Nectare Overdose, guys, is so beautiful. Nectare Overdose smells like white flowers drizzled in honey. That is the description. So what kind of florals am I talking about here? Imagine tuberose, orange blossom, and jasmine drizzled in honey, plus some subtle greenness coming from the neroli. It is absolutely stunning. And I love as well that it has a subtle tobacco in the background. The tobacco in here seems like a white smoke, very smooth and just stunning, guys. This is also in my top 3 discoveries of 2025. I mentioned before that this is like the best honey fragrance that I have in my collection right now. This is a wearable floral honey scent that is quite feminine leaning. I won't really say that it's unisex because the florals in here are prominent. It also has a walnut milk that gave this fragrance that distinct creaminess. It is quite unique actually, in my opinion. I highly recommend this fragrance if you are looking for a beautiful, sophisticated honey floral scent from the Middle Eastern market. In my opinion, this screams spring and summer. This is a feminine, elegant kind of fragrance. I highly recommend it. Performance is outstanding. It lasted me more than 8 hours and it stays forever on clothes, guys. Actually, I will say eternal. Quite a beast mode projector as well. Highly recommend if my description sounds interesting to you. All right, speaking of floral, I will say my favorite floral from the Middle Eastern market is Nafais Sharq by Khadlaj. This kind of surprised me. I didn't really expect it to be this amazing, I will say. I'm gonna rank this fragrance as a 10 out of 10. It is a beautiful and wearable gardenia, apricot, freesia, pear, vanilla scent that I am truly enjoying. This is a kind of fragrance that I will give to someone who's into fruity floral scent. I find this fragrance sophisticated as well, perfect as a signature scent. I love how the apricot and gardenia gave this fragrance a strong character. It's not just a typical, floral fragrance because the apricot in here is quite present and it is sweet. There is some freshness as well coming from the pear. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love this fragrance. Khadlaj released a new flanker of Nafais Sharq and I told you guys that in my opinion, Nafais Sharq is still better. I love Nafais Sharq because in spite of all the fruits and florals that are in here, it didn't come out as heady considering that it has gardenia. I find gardenia note to be quite tricky, and it can actually somehow smell like mothballs on me, especially when combined with jasmine. But yeah, I guess Nafais Sharq didn't give me that mothballs vibe, probably because there's no jasmine here. It is more of gardenia and freesia, giving this fragrance that radiant and sophisticated vibes. I truly enjoy and love Nafais Sharq. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a unique, fruity, floral scent from the Middle Eastern market. I'm aware that people are comparing Nafais Sharq with Bashyami by Bulgari. I own that perfume as well. And to me, they're not really one-to-one. Actually, I prefer Nafais Sharq when it comes to versatility because I find the fruits and florals here more well balanced. And yeah, so that is my thought about Nafais Sharq, the best fruity floral scent from the Middle Eastern market. Amazing performance. It lasts more than 8 hours on skin. Nafais Sharq by Khadlaj, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. All right, now let's talk about some complex fragrance. Definitely not for everyone, but if you love Guidance by Voyage like me, then I highly recommend you checking out Mahab by Nusuk. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love Guidance, and I love it so much to the point that I never thought that it can be duped because it is way too complex. But Nusuk did it with Mahab. This is a complex osmanthus, incense, and rose fragrance that I truly enjoy. You know, the annoying opening of Guidance is captured in here as well, to the point that I was truly shocked and impressed because the stages of Guidance was in here too. So having said that, the final dry down is quite powdery. The projection, guys, is so good. I would say first 3 hours is quite beastly, especially if you overspray, you know, until it becomes moderate. The note breakdown says different notes, but in my opinion, this is mainly incense, osmanthus, peach, sandalwood, rose, and musk. The final dry down is mainly creamy sandalwood, rose, musk with some peachy apricot nuance in the background. It's quite powdery as well, very sophisticated, a beautiful rose scent in my opinion. If you love rose in fragrances and you are missing like a complex rose in your collection, then I highly recommend you Mahab by Nusuk. It is truly a remarkable creamy rose scent that I will highly recommend. And this is a kind of dupe as well that I will recommend if you're looking for an affordable version of Voyage Guidance. Once again, Mahab by Nusuk, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. All right, next fragrances will be more appropriate this winter and fall time, in my opinion. December Amber by Paris Corner. Now, this fragrance truly surprised me as well. I never thought I will love it and enjoy it as much as I do now, because I have worn this fragrance like back to back, and it's very rare for me to do that. This is a beautiful apple, coconut, saffron, rose, benzoin, and amber combo that is very captivating. It starts off quite warm and spicy, kind of giving like mulled wine feel, but then it also has like some creaminess, and that creaminess is coming from the coconut. As this fragrance dries down, it becomes sweeter and woodier. The caramel, in my opinion, is the most prominent note to my nose, along with the woody notes in this fragrance, as well as the vanilla and saffron. This is a kind of fragrance that the more you wear it, the more you will love it. There's something about it that is just captivating, especially when it's cold outside, because it lingers on the skin. The caramel that is in here is not too cloying. However, you know that it is quite sticky, but then it is blended so well with the coconut, which is creamy, and the contrast with the saffron and anise are just phenomenal. It is a beautiful plum, apple, caramel, coconut, and saffron scent that I will highly recommend. If you're looking for a sweet amber scent from the Middle Eastern market that smells unique, I highly recommend you December Amber. In my opinion, this shines when it's extremely cold outside. Like you will definitely keep sniffing yourself. Yeah. And I find this fragrance feminine leaning as well because of its sweetness. Once again, December Amber by Paris Corner. Right. Next up is no surprise. You know how much I love this fragrance. Khamrah Dukhan by Lattafa. In my opinion, this is still the #1 Middle Eastern perfume released this year. And why is that? Primarily because it is not a dupe of anything. I love how Lattafa made its own flanker. So even though it has the sweet and boozy DNA of Khamrah, they added incense, mandarin orange, and more spices in here that to me makes it more special. I have talked about this fragrance several times in my channel. And until this point, I'm still gonna say that this is my best Middle Eastern perfume release of 2025. To the point that I'll be using this on Christmas Eve. We will do a Christmas Eve party in our house, okay? So that's quite big. And I chose Dukhan already to be my scent of the day for that night because I truly enjoy it. I love the fact how they added the incense, pimento, and mandarin orange in this fragrance, cutting off that extremely sweet and kind of cloying Khamrah DNA. In my opinion, Khamrah Dukhan smells absolutely incredible and luxurious. I highly recommend it. If you don't have any of the Khamrahs yet, then I highly recommend you checking out Dukhan. In my opinion, it is a unisex fragrance. However, it leans more feminine. Once again, Khamrah Dukhan, my favorite Middle Eastern perfume release of 2025. All right, so I mentioned 10 already, and I told you that I have 13 because the other 3 that I'm talking about are worth mentioning, especially Amber Empire by French Avenue. Now, in my opinion, this is the best Middle Eastern perfume release for men this year. And I've tried so many guys and nothing captivated me more than Amber Empire. To the point that I asked my husband to wear this actually almost on a daily basis. So basically, this is a boozy, spicy, addictive Amber Tonka Labdanum Vanilla combo that I find extremely sexy. It is quite dark as well. I'm gonna describe this fragrance more of like a spicy, boozy, and slightly sweet scent. I mentioned sweet, however, it's just perfect still for a man to use. Like it doesn't smell like a feminine fragrance in spite of its sweetness. Actually, this is very unisex. I will say just right in the middle. I will wear this fragrance as well. However, this is just more addictive on my husband. Every time I smell this on him, like I couldn't stop sniffing him. And yeah, apparently this is a dupe of Clive Christian's Blonde Amber. The sexy and addictive, warm, spicy, boozy, and creamy scent that I find extremely attractive, especially on a man. And I highly recommend it. Amber Empire is my favorite fragrance on my husband as of now. Once again, Amber Empire by French Avenue, and I find this fragrance unisex, slightly leaning more masculine. All right, next up is my own favorite Middle Eastern perfume release this year. Now, I mentioned my own personal favorite because I have used this fragrance several times, and it is Fayora by Paris Corner. This is my most used Middle Eastern perfume this year as well, and I just really enjoy it. Basically, this is a fruitier and muskier version of Dama Bianca. Actually, I don't find them to be like dupes because I really find Fayora to be heavy in passion fruit, and that passion fruit that is in here doesn't go away. However, I love it. It is a kind of fragrance that to me smells effortlessly sophisticated, and it is a kind of scent that I will use on a daily basis because I love how it makes me feel. I find Fayora to be very elegant yet easy reach, and I just love this fragrance a lot, to the point that even though it's not a beast mode fragrance and it lasted me around like 4 to 6 hours, I have to include it in today's video because it is my own personal favorite Middle Eastern perfume release of 2025. Once again, Fayora by Paris Corner, a beautiful passion fruit, green vanilla, and musky scent, perfect for everyday wear. And last but not the least is my favorite, let's just say, gourmand from the Middle Eastern perfume market. And some may not even find this fragrance to be very gourmand, but this is like my type of gourmand. And this is the newest release of Paris Corner, Zahri Amara. If you follow me in TikTok, you know that Zahri Amara is one of my best discoveries from Beauty World in Dubai this year. This is basically a beautiful blueberry muffin scent with a little bit of squeezed lemon on top. It's so addictive. Now, I'll be honest with you, I almost didn't include it in today's video because it needs to sit, and also as of now it is not yet projecting very well. Now, I included it in today's list because I find this fragrance to be addictive. This is a dupe of Loraico's One Umbrella for Two. And even though I've tried that fragrance, okay, I'm not sure if I have a decant of it, but I haven't compared them side by side yet. But all I can say is that this is a kind of gourmand that I would love to smell like. And I love the fact that to me, it smells more of like a blueberry muffin. Actually, I don't see any blueberry in the note breakdown, but to me, this smells like a blueberry muffin and like a green tea on the side. It is a very refreshing and clean smelling gourmand scent. I have tried so many gourmands from the Middle Eastern market. I will say personally, Zahri Amara is something that I will actually wear because this feels more like me. It is a gourmand that has that clean aesthetic vibes, and I love the fact that it is blueberry. Even though blueberry is not listed in the note breakdown, to me this smells like blueberries. I mentioned that because I don't have really a blueberry perfume in my collection. So now I have it, and it is a gourmand blueberry scent that I am truly enjoying. So yeah, I have to feature it here because I enjoy this blueberry gourmand scent with a clean aesthetic vibe twist as well. I mentioned clean aesthetic vibe twist because of the tea note that is in here, and that tea note along with the Kashmiran gave this fragrance that sophisticated and clean feel, which I am truly enjoying. Once again, Zahri Amara by Paris Corner to end up today's list. So those are my 10 out of 10 Middle Eastern perfume releases of 2025. I would like to personally thank you guys because as we reach the end of 2025, I have gained so much followers, and actually I am celebrating my 3rd year anniversary in YouTube. So I would like to do a giveaway here in Europe. I'm sorry for my subscribers in other countries, and just not to have hassle for you and me, I will do this giveaway in Europe. So I'll be giving away December Amber by Paris Corner to one of you guys. All you have to do is just to make sure that you're following me in TikTok, Instagram, because your girl needs some followers and subscribers in those accounts. And of course, here in YouTube, like this video and make a comment down below like what you love the most about my YouTube channel. I would love to know. I'll be announcing the winner in my TikTok and Instagram story I will screenshot your comment in my YouTube channel and I will pin your comment as well. So yeah, good luck to all the participants. I chose December Amber because I really feel like you will love this fragrance, guys. Once again, thank you all so much for watching and for all your support. Next video will be my best niche perfumes of 2025. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!